Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. We're just going to get started in a moment, but we want to allow some more folks to jump on. There are nearly 35,000 people RSVP'd for this event tonight. So you are in good company, and I'm really looking forward for all of us to be together and hear from some amazing folks across the country that are doing some incredible work. In honor of this beautiful country that we care about so dear. In the meantime, please go ahead and share where you're joining from tonight and let us know if you've already RSVP'd to join a hands-off event this Saturday, April 5th, which we are going to talk a ton about throughout the hour. But we can go ahead and get started, I guess. We've got thousands of people who are on before we even started and over 35,000 people that have RSVP'd. So welcome, welcome, and thank you so much for being here. I am Rana Epting. I'm the executive director of MoveOn, and I can't begin to tell you how grateful I am to be with all of you here this evening and the so many amazing folks that we're going to hear from on tonight's live stream. Folks, I have said this in countless speeches I have given over the last few months, but I truly, truly believe in my core that this right here, what we are doing, all of us coming together, strength in numbers, this is how we will get through this moment. This is how we will push back. And this is how we are going to come back, all of us together. Starts here tonight and it doesn't stop, because no matter how dark a time is, no matter how bad it may seem, and I'll be honest, unfortunately, it's bad. It's real, real bad. But I'm confident in two things. Number one, our families, our neighbors, our community, our freedoms, our critical services, our democracy, and so much more. They are all worth fighting for. And two, the people. The people will prevail. When we come together, we are incredibly powerful. And that's what we're doing here tonight. And Ezra, Deirdre, Randy, Kim, Ashley, Alex, Elisa, Jonah, and I are going to walk through with all of you how we're going to stand up for our families, our communities, and our country, what we have planned next, and most importantly, how you all can get involved if you're not already. But I presume if we're here tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific time, you're already taking action. So thank you for all that you have done already, and thank you for the more that you're going to give as we march forward together. But before my friends speak, I just want to say a few words about this moment that we find ourselves in. In just a handful of weeks, folks, I don't need to tell you, but we have seen Trump take a wrecking ball to our rights, our freedoms, our public services, our jobs, our democracy as we know it, through one executive order after another, many of which are illegal, to be clear, and through empowering the unelected Elon Musk to co-run this country. Trump and Republicans are using every tool of the government to implement an extreme and cruel right-wing agenda at a speed by which we have never seen before. And they are working every angle while they do this to squash dissent and difference of opinion, whether it be against student protesters, independent reporters, judges, lawyers, or political opponents, you name it. They're threatening, bullying, and punishing folks who get in their way and express a difference of opinion. This is insanity. Trump, in the words of his top political advisor, Steve Bannon, is flooding the zone with, I'll just say it, he's flooding the zone with shit, y'all. So much shit that many in our country, and certainly our media, simply can't keep up. Their goal is to break us. It's to exhaust us. It's to make us give up because it's too much to take. To make the majority of Americans who oppose this agenda feel helpless and hopeless. That's their goal. And every time I think about it, I think, you know what? F that. We must not give in to hopelessness. We are not helpless. And we can and we must take the agency that we have and do everything in our power to push back. And while things are dire, I still have hope. And I implore you to hold on to hope as well, because that hope lives in us, the people. From those of us that are showing up at local marches, others showing up at congressional town halls to make their voices heard. Some folks are choosing to run for office, and those that are participating in a number of forms of protest, whatever it may be, that hope lives in us, in those folks that are organizing their communities to fight for their families, for their neighbors, for their friends. Hope lies in those showing up at the ballot box today. Hope lies in some of our elected leaders who are standing up for us, like Senator Cory Booker, who, before we started this call, I'm not sure if he's still going, but you let me know, but he's been disrupting Senate business as usual, and he's been delivering a record-setting speech over the last 24 hours and counting to decry the Trump administration's impact on the people and on our country. We are the hope, we are the promise, and together we are strong. So, my friends, I want to ground us not just in hope, which is essential, but I want to say a few truths tonight here as well. Number one, we must remember Donald Trump has no mandate, despite what they want you to think. He won the presidency with a historically slim margin. Less than 50% of the electorate voted for him. 75 million people voted against him and his agenda. And certainly nobody voted for Elon Musk, that's for sure. So there is no mandate. It is not the majority of people that voted for this guy. Number two, Trump's brand may have helped him get elected, but his agenda is undoubtedly wildly unpopular, and it's starting to spark backlash. So right now, Trump and Elon Musk are doing everything they can to consolidate power. But at the same time, they're driving their slash and burn agenda that's going to cut lifelines for millions of people, attempting to cut Medicaid, Social Security, food stamps, firing tens of thousands of federal employees, threatening to get rid of the United States Postal Service. Some of this stuff is so outlandish and outrageous, it cuts against the core of our very understanding of what it means to live in this country. And as more and more people experience the direct impacts of this cruel agenda that is laid out with such heartlessness and thoughtlessness, that backlash will only grow. And we're seeing that backlash now. Yes, one would hope they would listen and knock it off, because you hope they try to represent us, not rule over us. But that brings me to my third point, the third truth. Donald Trump is no king. He is not invincible. Neither are the Republicans. We have fought a monarchy before in this country, and we have won. This country is not pro-king, very much the opposite. We also fought Donald Trump and his agenda before, and we won. So yes, they have learned some lessons from last time. They may be positioning themselves more strategically this time around, but so have we. Okay? So have we. So you're here tonight because you refuse to sit silently while power is abused, while truth is distorted, while our government is being looted to line the pockets of the ultra wealthy, and our rights are being stripped away. I believe that's why you're here. Or let me know in the chat if that's why you're here. But that's why many of us are here. Donald Trump and Elon Musk are not trying to, they're not just trying to undo the progress of the last 4 years. They are literally working to undo the progress of the last 4 decades, of a generation of so much that we have fought for, that we have won, and that we've advanced for progress in our society. And we're not going to let that happen without our voices being heard. The administration is preying on vulnerable communities while their economic policies take a 2x4 to the working class. And while they enrich themselves and advance an agenda of tax cuts for their billionaire buddies and themselves. So tonight, that's what we're talking about. We're going to hear from various folks at the forefront of fighting for our communities in the face of these unrelenting attacks from this administration. And collectively, we're going to understand the connection between the tax on workers, our public services, our freedoms, the Constitution. It is all one big power grab that only together we can confront and defeat. Okay? Only together we can confront and defeat. So thank you for being here. And thank you for all you've done. And most importantly, thank you for all you're going to do. You're going to continue to do with us because we are just beginning. So let's get started. I first want to welcome our friend Ashley Woodard Henderson from the Working Families Party to ground us in the significance of the current moment, our collective power, and the importance of building mass movement. Ashley, what does mass movement even mean? Break it down for us.
Listen, it means by any means necessary, we need as many of our good folks of goodwill ready and willing to do whatever it's going to take to make sure that we salvage any semblance of democracy in this country and even further build the kind of utopian vision for the world that we deserve. Right now's the time, y'all. And I know you might be saying, Ash, I'm arriving really upset, really scared, right? You've seen the Trump administration disappearing people. You've seen the tariffs. You've seen all of the threats that he and his administration are making against federal workers. I get it. It's a dire time. But what I know is that we have a window of opportunity right now to grieve a thing, an old way, a harmful thing that is dying, while we actually take our values and our feelings and channel that into doing the good work of building the beloved community. We can do it right now. But guess what, friends? The work isn't just being on this call, right? This call is a step towards the critical work that we have to do. So I'm going to give you really quickly just a little bit of what I think you ought to be doing. And then you're going to hear from some of the people that I trust the most in the world about other things that you can also do. So the first thing you can do is you can go to the website handsoff2025.com and you can find an event near you. If you have not already signed up to be at a march, if you didn't do what Rana just offered and write down in the chat where you're going, and honestly, the chat was moving so fast, I was going to shout some of y'all out, but it's too many of y'all. Y'all have broken 17,000 people talking about where you're calling in from and where you're going to march. I saw some folks from Jonesboro, Tennessee. I saw some folks from California. I saw folks from Maine, New York. Y'all are all over the place, from big cities to small towns, from hollers and hoods all over this country. So if you haven't already signed up for an action on April 5th, in a time where people are telling you to let your feelings make you despondent and inactive, I want you to sign up to go to one of the April 5th hands off events. So if you've done that, I want you to say, Ashley, I already did that. So I know you've done it. We can check that off the box and I can tell you the next thing that I think you should do. So if you've already signed up for a hands off event, can you just tell me in the chat you've done it? You've done it. You got to show up. That's right. I see you. I see you've signed up. All right, cool. You've already done it. I also know, because we've had to tell some of y'all that we're running out of space, that y'all are already calling your Congress people. Y'all are showing up to town halls. Y'all are doing that work. That's awesome. So if you're already calling and lobbying for your communities in defense of your communities and families, if you've already been to a town hall, can you just say, Ash, I'm already in. I'm in the movement, girl. I followed that call to action. I already did it. If you've already done that sacred work, can you just say, yep, I did it? I see you. I see North Carolina in the building. I know y'all been working. All right. Well, I also would not be a good Working Families Party dues paying member if I didn't mention that while we're making our voices heard in the streets, we also need to make sure that our voices are heard in the halls of power, right? If we want policies that will actually help working families, then we're going to have to elect more people who know what it's like to work hard every day for paychecks that don't pay the bills, right? We need more people who have dealt with the crushing weight of medical debt. We need people who had to work multiple jobs to pay for their family's medical service, and we need folks that have had to work multiple jobs to pay for college and to make ends meet, right? Maybe that sounds like you. Maybe it's somebody that you know. It may seem like a big undertaking, y'all. I'm not trying to minimize the sacrifice, but I promise you there is a team of willing folks with incredible values at the Working Families Party that are ready to help you. Right now, we're working to recruit over 1,000 working class people to run for office in our communities at all levels of government. And with Trump and Musk dismantling government to enrich the billionaire oligarchy like themselves, we need to put power back in the hands of working people who will fight for us. So even if you're not sure about making the leap just yet, but you want to find more information about what it takes to run for office, I want you to take your phone and I want you to text the word run, RUN, to 30403. That's run, RUN, to 30403. Right now is the time to elect a new wave of leaders who will fight for us, not billionaires and corporations. Right now is the time for us to execute a multi-tactical strategy in the framework of blocking MAGA and building the movement, the beloved community that we've always deserved. Yes, now is a time to fight. But even more, I don't want you to just be good fighters. I want you to be good winners. And now is our time to do it, to make it so. I believe and have faith that we can do it because you all keep consistently showing up in your rightful place with everything you already need in your bones to make it so. Let's get it done. I'll see you on April 5th.
Woo, Ashley, you made me want to run for office. That's exciting. Thank you. Thank you, Ash from Working Families Party. Great calls to action. Okay. Speaking of fighting, I want to welcome a friend, Ezra Levin from Indivisible. Tell us about April 5th, this Saturday. What's going on? Tell us about the surge in energy we're seeing right now and how that relates to Saturday and why people should come out and join us.
Oh my gosh, Rana, there is so much energy out there right now. Hey, everybody, I'm Ezra Levin. I'm co-founder of Indivisible National. If you don't know us, look, we've got thousands of local volunteers. They're Indivisible group leaders spread across every single state, blue, red, purple, and urban communities, suburban communities, rural communities, every single congressional district in the country. And you don't need to be a member of Indivisible. You might be with MoveOn or Working Families Party or Public Citizen or AFT or ACLU or NEA or Social Security Works or the Federal Unionist Network. All of the above, maybe none of the above. Doesn't matter. We need you right now. We need you right now. Look around. Look around. Institutions that were supposed to uphold the norms of liberal democracy are failing and falling. Legacy media institutions, universities, law firms, business leaders, one after another, they're cowering, they're complying, they're giving exactly what the fascists in the White House and their goose-stepping accomplices in Congress want. I was talking to Timothy Snyder last week. If y'all don't know him, great guy, famed historian, author of On Tyranny, On Freedom. We were talking about what we were planning, what he thought the nation needed in this moment, about the logic of peaceful, nonviolent solidarity in this moment of creeping authoritarianism. And his argument was this: we need to be organized and we need to be big because it's going to be easier to organize in April than it is in May, and easier in May than in June, and easier in June than July. You want courageous institutions? So do I. You want courageous politicians? So do I. We've got to show them what courage looks like. We have to make courage irresistible. We've got to make it inevitable. We have to make courage contagious. The reason why we protest on April 5th is to tell Trump and Musk and the rest of them hands off today. But we also protest on April 5th so it's safe to tell them hands off tomorrow. It's up to us. It's up to all of us. When institutions fail, it's up to the people to become the bulwark of democracy against this authoritarian creep by authoritarian creeps. We need peaceful protesters, angelic troublemakers, as Bayard Rustin said, making good trouble, as John Lewis said, in every single nook and cranny of this country. And here's some good news. Here's good news. That's what we're all here doing, y'all. April 5th, National Day of Protest, saying hands off. As of this call right now, we have registered more than 1,200 local events all across the country. More than 100 in California, 59 across New York, 51 in Washington State, 49 in Michigan, 47 across Ohio, 36 across Texas, 16 in Montana, 14 across Alaska. There is one on each of the Hawaiian Islands, 2 on the Big Island. Hell, we're international, y'all. Ottawa, London, Lisbon, Lyon. I'm from Texas. I don't speak French. It's in France. All the stats I just mentioned, I'm positive they're wrong. They're outdated. Yesterday we had 1,000 events. This morning we had 1,200. There are more by the end of this call. I guarantee you. So how did we do it? How did this get started? Who is doing this? You are. You are normal, everyday people who don't like what Musk and Trump and the congressional Republicans are doing have raised their hands. Pro-democracy Americans and apparently folks in France, folks of all stripes who want to see Dems fight back with everything they've got. They're registering events. They're recruiting friends and families and colleagues and complete strangers. So how can you be a part of it? You don't know how to peacefully protest? You don't know the theories behind nonviolent action? You're not sure how to de-escalate when the other side escalates? Well, I got good news for you here too. We've got a training tomorrow. Tomorrow, we'll put a link in the chat. You can join tomorrow. So get ready, get outside. Find a hands-off event in your area. If there isn't one, congratulations. Yes, you are the new leader of a hands-off event in your community. Make some friends, pull in some co-leaders, and make clear that Musk and Trump are up against forces that they cannot intimidate into submission. We're the majority. We're telling them to get their grubby little hands off of us, our friends, our families, our schools, our communities, our civil rights, and our democracy. I'll see you in the streets on Saturday.
Woo! Yes, let's go. Thank you, Ezra. Thank you for all you're doing. Okay, so, hands off this weekend is going to be big, not just here in the US, but all across the globe. Unbeknownst to us, folks are organizing everywhere. So this is excellent news because, again, we are stronger in numbers. We are stronger together. But I want to bring in a new guest to kind of talk more about what's at stake here. So it's not just these cuts to services. It's not just this gutting of federal jobs. It's not just like attacks on unions, which we'll talk about all of this tonight. But really what I want to bring Deirdre Scheifling from the ACLU here to talk about and join me is these constitutional threats, these threats to our rights and our freedoms that we're seeing. I mean, we're seeing some really concerning news reports out there that the administration is detaining people and disappearing them without due process, just based on like maybe an op-ed someone wrote because they didn't like it. We're also hearing, reports in the media that the Trump administration is flirting with defying court orders or outright defying the courts completely. So can you help us make sense of what are they really doing and what is this adding up to? Welcome, Deirdre.
Thank you so much, Rana. And it's great to be here with all of you. I'm Deirdre Scheifling. I'm the Chief Political and Advocacy Officer at the ACLU. And yes, I'm here to give you an update on what's happening. So we have already filed 25 lawsuits against the Trump administration. And I want to tell you, before we get into that and all the different ways that we're defending rights and defending the Constitution, I want to say that as critical as these court fights are, and as proud as we are at the ACLU of our incredible litigators, we are ultimately going to have to beat back this administration and defend our rights together in the court of public opinion. Winning in the courts and winning in the court of public opinion have to go together. So courts by themselves will not be enough. There are 3 buckets of legal attacks that I am going to cover that we've seen. First, the Trump administration seizing authorities that they don't have. The second, attacks on our First Amendment, our freedom of speech, our freedom to protest, our freedom to dissent. And third, a host of attacks on our basic civil rights. There's been one consistent through line in these first 2.5 months of the Trump administration, and that is a systematic attack on the rules and institutions that can limit Donald Trump's power. That's the through line. Attacking anything that tries to put a limit on Donald Trump's power. One of the very first things he did on January 20th was sign a blatantly unconstitutional executive order denying citizenship to certain babies born in the United States, birthright citizenship. It's in the Constitution. The same day, we sued and quickly won an injunction preventing him from implementing that. But he hasn't given up. And that's just one example of a bunch of cases that he has brought, trying to overturn our laws, overturn our Constitution, and pretending that the Constitution doesn't apply to him. Our partners have fought from some of their funding freezes and dismantling of agencies and firings. We've sued on a number of immigration policies and attacks on the LGBTQ community, all of which break existing laws. We've also filed a number of FOIA requests with more than 40 federal agencies to get more information on what DOJ is doing, with to access our personal information and data. And we've sued and won restraining orders against Trump's shocking use of a made-up invasion to invoke a 20-year-old war power to disappear people to a notorious prison in El Salvador. We've never seen behavior like this. We know for a fact, and the Trump administration has even admitted it, that innocent people have been swept up in these raids and without any evidence or due process have been put on a plane and ended up in prison. It is disgusting. It's outrageous. and it's frightening. And I think that's the point. That's the reason they are doing it, is to make examples and to scare us. We've also joined the legal teams for Mahmoud Khalil and Rumesa Azturk, two of the green card holders who were taken with no notice off the street, and from their own house in the middle of the night by plainclothes ICE agents, and sent to prisons in Louisiana for exercising their freedom of speech. The administration is punishing them and many other visa and green card holders because Trump doesn't like their political views. It's as simple as that. And it's a clear First Amendment violation. Just like Trump issuing executive orders punishing big law firms for the clients that they take and the arguments that they make in court. That is also a clear First Amendment violation. And we filed amicus briefs along with many other legal partners in those cases. And just yesterday, we filed suit along with the Legal Defense Fund and the Brennan Center to challenge Trump's newest voting executive order that would disenfranchise tens of millions of voters. All told, the Trump administration is really engaged in an unprecedented attempt to undo checks and balances that protect our rights. They've ignored laws passed by Congress. They're attacking judges. They're attacking lawyers. They're attacking our legal system. They're gutting the civil service, and they're shredding First Amendment protections. Whether they get away with any particular effort doesn't matter as much as the message that they are sending so loud and so clear, which is sowing fear, sowing the feeling of powerlessness. That is what they want us to feel, which is the point of all of these attacks. They want to send the message that instead of we the people ruling, Trump is going to be in control. Trump is going to decide what books we can read, what history we can learn, what our tax dollars can be used for, who's going to decide whether or not we become parents, who's going to decide how we identify ourselves, where we go to the bathroom, what bathroom we use. And of course, they want to control ultimately who gets to talk, who gets to speak, who gets to vote, so that they can ensure that they stay in power no matter what. We can't let that happen. It's going to take all of us. The ACLU can win every court battle we bring and still lose the war for our freedom if people are too scared to stand up for their rights. And that is why we are joining in support of April 5th. It's so important. Public courage is the solution. Public courage. We can't wait for others to lead. What will make Congress stand up, what will make university presidents stand up, corporate CEOs and big law partners stand up, is when we show them that we together demand it. We have to show them our power to give them courage to stand up in the ways that we need. So we are here with you. We are excited to do that with you on April 5th. And let's go. Let's do it.
Oh, so grateful for the ACLU, for y'all's leadership, for all the litigators out there standing up for free speech and our constitutional rights. Thank you so much, Deirdre, for laying that out for all of us. So it's not just our rights under attack, it's our public education under attack as well. Over a week ago, I actually can't get the timeline straight. It feels like 60 days has been 60 years, but I think it was over a week ago, the Trump-Musk administration announced their intent to get rid of the Department of Education, eliminating jobs on purpose to actually completely dismantle what we know and what we depend on in terms of the Department of Education here in this country. So we're going to hear directly from our friend Randy Weingarten, the president of the American Federation of Teachers, representing 1.8 million teachers, paraprofessionals, and school-related personnel, higher education faculty and staff and nurses and other healthcare professionals, local, state, and federal government employees, early childhood educators, all the people that we love and know that take care of our kids and our families and our community. Like, this is the heart of America. So Randy, tell us, why is the administration even doing this? What is their end game? And how do these attacks fit into the larger billionaire-backed power grab that we've been talking about tonight?
So thank you, Rana. And I'm so honored to be with all of you. And I love that we have a timekeeper up here so that I can stay at 4.5 minutes. But this is what's really going on. The everybody has said it already in different words. If you know anything about authoritarian governments, fascism, and all of that, they want the silence. They want you to give up. They want people not to be able to critically think, problem solve, be together in community. They want people to be isolated and fearful and just say, okay, I'm going to find a rock that is big enough so I can hide. That's what they want. That's how they do things. And this is the textbook that we are seeing happen right now. Now, what is surprising, and that's why I think people, and I heard you, Rana, at the beginning of this call, because people are like, oh my God, what's going on? What happened here? I thought our democracy would hold. They want that fear. They want us not to have the hope that Ezra just talked about, the hope that shows up when we all show up together on April 5th, the hope when you have signs like this, compassion over cruelty, when we the people are out there. So why education? Just like why labor? Because public education is the foundation stone of democracy. It's the foundation for kids actually having opportunity, but it's also the foundation stone of democracy. It's a foundation stone of pluralism. It brings communities together instead of separating them apart, and brings people who are different together instead of otherizing them. And the same in terms of the labor movement. The labor movement is about creating agency. So we fight for decent wages and decent health care. And I see, Alex, we're going to fight for Social Security. And so if they take the labor movement away, if they take our right to collective bargaining away, how do we fight that together? So that's why they are trying to take away the foundation stones of opportunity. That's what autocrats do. And how do we fight back? We have to fight back in the courts, but Deirdre is totally right. If we don't fight back in the court of public opinion, if we don't fight and engage in terms of commerce, then the courts are our only vehicle. We can't do that. Courts, court of public opinion, commerce, that's how we move Congress. And that's why April 5th is so important. So if we care about critical thinking, if we care about kids having a safe and welcoming environment, if we care about making sure that all our kids have access to the funding that we've been trying to get for the last 40 years, whether it's Title I, whether it's IDEA, funding for poor kids, funding for kids who are going to college, funding for kids with disabilities, we got to be out on the streets on April 5th. And we have to be there together as community. And the more we are there together, the more they can't dehumanize people, the more we work together to fight for all, to fight for opportunity, to fight for public education for every single child, to fight to make sure there's a labor movement for anyone, to fight to say, no, this is not what we believe in our government. This is not who we are. People are changing. They're shifting. There's a sense of, no, this is not what we voted for. This is not who we are. It's not just the price of eggs. This is not who we are. If we gather together, and I'm going to end with where Ash was, if we gather together as community, as a beloved community, this is what labor knows, shoulder to shoulder with each other. That's why April 5th is so important, because we're showing up. We're caring about each other. We're fighting the fight for dignity, for opportunity. That's who America should be. That's who all of us are. But we have to prove to each other that we're not alone. Thank you very much. I'm honored to be with all of you.
Thank you, Randy, for all of you and all of your incredible leadership and the incredible words of inspiration tonight. We're going to keep going with this theme around the attacks on public education. We want to hear from Kim Anderson, our friend Kim, who's the executive director of the National Education Association. Over 3 million folks working in education, the people that love and care for our children and our communities. Kim, tell us, how are educators engaging in this moment? What are the reactions to what's happening, and what are people doing to take agency and influence what is happening here in our country?
Thank you so much, Rana. Educators across the country are angry, and they're disappointed and dumbfounded, to be honest. And One thing I have come to learn about educators: do not mess with their kids. Do not mess with the kids. Don't come for the kids, because our members will rise up. We saw that in Red for Ed. We see it now. We saw it in the first Trump administration. Our members are engaging in walk-ins. Our members are engaging in helping parents know your rights. We are distributing red cards so folks understand their rights. We are engaging in rallies. We are engaging in lobby days. We are engaging in back home congressional visits to hold members of Congress and other elected officials accountable. We are going to school boards and asking questions. We are filing suit. Yes, yes, yes. Sue, sue, sue. And we are engaging with allies. I think the one word that I hope folks take away from tonight is community. Right? Because with community comes courage. And when we have courage to stand up together, we can take collective action. This regime that we are standing together against has 4 C's. They're into chaos, to spread us a mile wide and an inch deep, to try to fracture us from coming together as being one community, one force that stands for democracy and equality and opportunity for everyone. It stands for dignity and self-determination. They are for control. You see that in censorship. We had a member that told us recently that her school administrator asked her to take down all of the essays that her students had written about Dr. Martin Luther King off her classroom walls, because that was apparently in violation of the executive order against DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Can you imagine what an educational experience would be like for every child in America if they didn't learn about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., to name one great former leader? Can you imagine what that looks like? And can you imagine the message that sends to every American family about what is happening to our curriculum? Educators are not going to stand by and watch curriculum be whitewashed. We are not going to stand by and watch our children lose services. So let me give you a few numbers that are important. 90% of our children in K-12 go to public schools. 95% of all students with disabilities go to public schools. This administration wants to gut signature programs and federal funding that is designed to help level the playing field and provide opportunity for everyone, especially Title I, especially the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. 50% of all kids receive their health care through Medicaid. Can you imagine what is going to happen when they can't access a school nurse or a doctor in their school or in a community health clinic? Can you imagine what happens when the rural hospital closes down? And 40% of our children, 40% of all public school children receive school meals at a free or reduced price lunch. Some kids, when they eat lunch on Friday, that's the last meal they have before the weekend. So what we have to do, and all of my colleagues, I'm so honored to be here with everyone, but I will repeat, we have to stand up together, right? Please mobilize around April 5th. Please join in. Every single free society that has ever toppled an authoritarian oligarchic regime has come together in a multi-issue, multiracial, multi-generational coalition. We've built a strong and big movement to say no. And that is what we need to do. We need to say no. And enough is enough. The corruption, we will not stand. The censorship, we will not stand. The cruelty, we will not stand. And we can beat chaos with community every day of the week. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kim, and thank you to all of the National Education Association folks throughout this country that fight so hard for our children and our families and for everything that you all do. All right, so on to the next fight, y'all. In addition to protecting education and our children, we also want to protect Social Security, one of the greatest benefits that we all work hard for. It is an earned benefit. If you work and you pay into Social Security, you're waiting till the day you retire to be able to access that benefit. It is our money, not theirs. And right now, Elon and Trump are gutting Social Security agency. We're going to hear more about this from someone who, when I think about Social Security working, I think of this man, Alex Lawson, who I don't know how long, but you've been fighting for Social Security for as long as I've ever known you. So tell us what the heck is happening. Do folks need to worry? My dad asked me the other day, he said, Rana, do I have to worry about my Social Security check? What should I do? I said, I don't know. I'm going to ask Alex. So you tell me what's going on here.
Rana, thank you so much. And to everybody, this really is what solidarity looks like, what it feels like. It's all of us coming together. Look, it's no new thing that the billionaires are trying to steal all of the money, right? In fact, Social Security was created 90 years ago. It turns 90 in August because Wall Street, the billionaires, crashed the world economy, right? The Great Depression. And Social Security was part of the antidote to not only the Great Depression at the time, but what the idea of the New Deal was to build a system by working people for working people. It's our money. It's ours. We pay into it. And you know who's not involved? The billionaires on Wall Street. That's why Social Security works. Just like public education. Public education works because the billionaires on Wall Street, they're not allowed in. And that's why they hate it. They hate things that work because they don't make any money. Now let's get into what they're doing now, because it's no new thing that they're trying to steal our Social Security. But for 90 years, through war and peace, through boom and bust, through health and pandemic, Social Security has never missed a single payment. Compare that to the risky alternatives on Wall Street. People who've been through and Wall Street caused collapse, like in 2008, they saw 401ks turned into 201ks, right? Wall Street is not something you can trust, while Social Security is. But unfortunately, now the billionaires have learned that they can't get their greedy little hands directly on our money. So what they've done is they've given the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, and his Doge goons a chainsaw, and they've carved right through the heart of the Social Security Administration. So I can no longer say that not a single benefit has been missed, because benefits have been missed. So Rana, unfortunately, to your father, you have to say, no, you do have to be worried. We do recommend that people get a hard copy of their Social Security statement that says how much they're owed. And they keep an eagle eye on their bank accounts to make sure that amount gets in full and on time, because people are not getting their checks. And that's the design of what Elon Musk is doing. Destroy the administration that gets the checks to the people. Cause chaos. This is an old con. Kneecap the mailman and then complain that the mail is late, and then be like, oh yeah, I just happened to have a cousin in the private mail delivery service. He'll charge twice as much and deliver half. At the same time, they want to give themselves emergency powers so that they can get their hands on our benefits. Because right now they can't do that with less than 60 votes in the Senate. But if they crater the system, if they destroy the administration and people aren't getting their checks, which is what's happening now, and it's getting worse. I was just up on the Hill and I didn't even have time to change out of my suit, but I was happy because I spent all day there. There were 6 events on both sides of the Hill with politicians standing up, shining a light on this, ringing the alarm bell that Social Security right now is not guaranteed to get the money that you are owed. That hasn't changed. But to get that money into your hands, That's what Elon Musk is attacking. And I'm happy that the politicians are raising their voices on the Hill. But I also know that the way we beat authoritarianism, the way we stop wannabe dictator is by millions of people standing together, shoulder to shoulder, in solidarity and raising our voices. It's the only thing that matters. Bravery does not come from politicians. Bravery comes from the people. There is no cavalry coming to save us, which is scary, except we should remember we are the cavalry. We find our bravery together. We've had dozens of events at Social Security offices already with people raising their voices. And the attack on Social Security is a massive opportunity for us to connect with people in every nook and cranny in this country, because that's where Social Security works, everywhere. So this Saturday on April 5th, we need everybody to get together and say, hands off Social Security, hands off public education, hands off our democracy. And I know this to be absolutely true. When we fight, we win. And I'm so happy and proud to be in this fight with you. And I know that we're going to win.
Couldn't have said it better. Thank you so much, Alex, for everything you're doing, and every drop, every bit counts, and all of us together. And you put it perfectly. It's hands off, your grubby hands off Social Security, Medicaid, education, our rights, our freedoms, our Constitution, our democracy, and our jobs. So next up, I want to invite Alyssa Tafty, the executive director of the Federal Unionist Network. And so Alyssa will tell us a little bit about this, but I want to say a little bit about her before I hand it over. Up until last Friday, she was a federal worker and the president of her local union, but has just quit to fight for federal workers' rights and our public services full time. God bless you. Tell us, why is the Trump administration conducting these mass layoffs of federal workers? What is their end game? What does that mean for all of us?
Thanks so much, Rana, for the introduction and for those great questions. Yeah, I plan to spend my whole career in federal service. I was really proud to serve the public, but this fight was too important for me to stay out of. So I'm doing it full time. I'm with the Federal Unionist Network, and we're a network of federal unionists, and we are so happy to be partnering here and to be joining you all in this fight. So yeah, federal workers are facing unprecedented attacks. And we're seeing they were really clear, the administration, that they wanted to traumatize federal workers, and that's what they're trying to do. And it's been really hard for federal workers. I think you've all heard stories from federal workers about what they're experiencing. But the thing that I find most moving and most sort of interesting about it is that they're all moving immediately to their concerns about the impact that these cuts will have on the public. And on the people who they made an oath to serve. So that's the main concern, because why is this happening? Why is this happening really to the public? And it's not about efficiency. I don't know if they've dispensed with telling the lie that it's about efficiency, and now they're just really being brutally honest about that it's dismantling and destroying the federal government. But we know this isn't about efficiency. You don't slash tens of thousands of jobs in one go to create efficiency. You're doing it because you want to take away the government, and they want to do it because so they can privatize, so that they can make money off of it. And the people who are going to suffer because of it are the American people, because the federal government, the services that the government provides, the regulations, all of these ways, these things that the government does, these touch us every day, over and over again, in ways that we don't really understand, because when it's working well, it's invisible, and they're trying to break that right now. And we're going to start seeing what that feels like, the pain of that brings to the public. And it's going to impact everybody, both in that way, but also if you look at what they're doing, the administration that's flouting the law to attack federal workers, they're going to do this to everybody else in the country too. This should be sort of an example, setting the stage to see what's going to happen if they're left unchecked. And that's what we have to do, is we have to stop them. Deidre talks a little bit about the illegal actions in the latest executive order on Thursday that everybody, I think, has heard about at this point now. The removal of collective bargaining rights is yet another example of that. And that's another example of the administration really flouting the law. We were given this right. The federal workers were given the protection in the Civil Service Reform Act in 1978, the protection of collective bargaining rights, among other sort of rights for unionization. And what they said that is that it was because it was in the public interest. Unions in the government are an important part of protecting the public and helping to provide the services that the American public needs. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to cut the unions down. It's clearly retribution, and it's clearly as a way to make it easier for them to fire us and slash our services. But what they don't understand, possibly because of their sort of aversion to history, is that the power of the unions, it's not in the law, in the sort of power that the laws have given us. The power of the unions are with the people. It's with our solidarity, and it's with our voices. And so they can take away these collective bargaining rights, but they won't take away the unions, and they won't take away our solidarity, and they won't take away our power. Kim talked about sort of the history that they are trying to take away from our students. I want to remind everybody of that history. We have a huge history of wins in this country. We had these wins and that built our democracy, and that was through the power of protest. We have so much history of protest and protest being successful in this country. It's fundamental to who we are as a nation, and it's going to be fundamental to preserving our democracy for us to continue that protest and to exercise that power of protest. So I want to encourage everybody to turn up April 5th. And I want you to bring your friends. I want you to be organizers. I love the labor movement. I'm a part of the labor movement. I think everybody can be an organizer. Go out, find at least 5 of your friends, push yourself, find more, and bring them out with you. And then keep showing up, because this isn't something we win on Saturday, April 5th. This is a part of growing this movement, of showing the rest of the country how much power we have and encouraging them to join us. So turn up Saturday and then turn up again and again and again, because that's how we're going to win. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alyssa. Go to handsoff2025.com and sign up. Join us April 5th. But that's not all. We have one more incredible speaker, our friend Jonah Minkoff-Cern from Public Citizen, who's going to talk to us about how we can stay ready and involved, not just on April 5th, but beyond, because it's going to take all of us consistently getting out there and making our voices heard. So, Jonah, how do we do this?
Thanks, Rana. So we are angry, we're scared, but we're fired up. So we could have had speakers for hours tonight talking about all the different ways that Trump and Musk and their people are devastating our nation, our services, our freedoms, our democracy. They are incompetent and malicious. They are not, the signal gate shows their incompetence, and it shows just how little they care about their impacts going to war and all the other ways that they're devastating our country. Just today, 10,000 healthcare workers they're trying to get rid of. And that's not even in the top of the news anymore, because they go on and on and on. But we have power in this struggle. It's our voices and our mobilization that's going to impact them, that's going to push back, and ultimately that's going to win. This isn't the first struggle that our nation has faced. We've had slavery, we've had a civil war, we've had lynching, we've had mass displacement. We have fought to end segregation. I was able to go a few weeks ago to Selma and walk beside the people who crossed Pettus Bridge 60 years ago. Those people faced violence. Many were killed in their work for freedom. Today, And even though they face this violence, even though they face these obstacles, they keep marching. They kept marching together. And they didn't just march, they took action. For 381 days, they refused to ride the buses in Montgomery. That meant they walked for miles and miles. Elderly, students, young parents. And for those who couldn't walk, they organized mutual aid, and people who had cars drove. Our struggle today is on the backs of these people, and we can learn lessons from these people who mobilized here, who are mobilizing all over the world against authoritarianism, like the 2 million people who rallied in Istanbul earlier this week. I want us to pause just for a minute and remember why we're in this struggle, to think about what we hold dear and what brought you here tonight. That's what we're working for. That's what we can achieve together. Their vision of this nation, the devastation of oligarchy, doesn't have to be the vision, doesn't have to be the future. And it really is absolutely up to us. This is our Selma moment. So we're going to mobilize this weekend in the hundreds of thousands. And what we need to do to make that powerful is we need to reach out beyond the people we're normally talking to. So right now, go to handsoff2025.com, find your local event or host one if it's not there, and share it with 5 people or organizations who you might not normally share this with. Think about all the voices you've heard tonight, the people who are suffering. Share it with labor unions, share it with veterans, share it with students. Think about people who might not have been with us before and share it with them. And put in the chat who you're thinking about and who you're sharing it with right now. We can build a big movement that's going to win this. It's going to take time. The hundreds of thousands of people who take the street with us this Saturday are not going to be the victory. It's going to be a momentous point of our struggle. So the second thing that you can do right now is go to moveon.org/interest form and sign up and say that you're in it for the long haul, that you want to receive training, that you want to mobilize with us again, like on May Day, where there are mass actions planned all around the country, that you want to keep taking action and learn how we can organize in this moment, which is like no moment that almost any of us have faced before. Together we can organize and we can win. This is our Selma moment. This is our long march.
Thank you, Jonah. Thank you to Ezra, Deirdre, Randy, Kim, Ashley, Alex, Elisa, and all of you for joining us here tonight. And again, if you're ready to take action in real life and protest, join an event with us on Saturday, April 5th. If you're ready to take action and protest in some other form, whatever form you're comfortable, please know that we embrace you. We are sending love to you, and it's going to take all of us, whether you're running for office or you're doing something in your local community, whatever way you are able to stand up, fight for your families, fight for your community, fight for our freedoms. We are with you. We stand in solidarity with you. So for those able to join us on this Saturday, April 5th, please visit handsoff2025.com. Find an event near you. You can even host one if there isn't one near you. Then recruit your friends, as Jonah said, your neighbor, your relative, everyone you can. I'm already hearing for people out there that aren't, nerdy, politically minded folks. They're just regular folks that are living their lives, and they're talking to me about, oh, have you heard about this day of action on April 5th? I'm going to go. People are bringing their communities together. They're doing artwork. They're writing, they're making their own signs. They're making, hearts that they can wear and talk about what they care about when they come to their event in their local community. So get involved, sign up, bring your friends, bring your neighbors, bring your relatives, everyone, because together we are stronger. We are stronger in numbers. We are stronger when we take action. And that is what Saturday is about, is all of us that have been standing up for our communities ever since Trump and Musk started getting their grubby little hands all over our services, all over our democracy, all over our rights. All of us have been taking action. Let's take action together in one day to send a clear story, a clear demand. Hands off. Hands off of the fabric of our society, everything we hold dear, from our education, our social security, our jobs, our democracy, our rights, our freedoms, our benefits, whatever your issue is, that this Saturday is a day for you. So thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for everything you do, and we'll see you on Saturday.